Hello, everyone, and welcome in once again. It's time for the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. River Dragons head coach Jerome Bechard, and this week's player guest is Carson Andreoli. Fellas, how's it going this week?
Not bad, Tom.
Yeah?
You get a haircut? Did you get a haircut?
I did get a haircut, actually, yes.
It looks good on you.
Thanks. I appreciate that, I think. I hope Sherry's not listening.
It looks good on you.
Oh, it looks good on you. Oh, yeah. There's a little Rodney Dangerfield in that one, Boomer. I don't know about that. So, a guy who hasn't had a haircut in a while, Carson Andreoli.
Carson.
Yeah.
You could use one.
Yeah.
I just had, some clippers.
No, your sides are lined up. You look good.
Yeah, I could use a trim, but I'm not sure what we're going to do.
Are you going for the mullet, or what are you doing here? You going for the hockey hair?
I've thought about it. Maybe for playoffs, we'll slice in etch in some lines there.
Let the flow go.
Yeah.
I saw Petro's got his coming out nice.
Yeah, I went the other way with it. Usually
going at the beginning
usually
of the year.
It's once a year haircut. And
your wife is always upset.
Yeah, so it's time to, kind of look somewhat respectable, I guess.
Who's got the best and worst lettuce on the team right now?
Ooh.
And it can be the same person, oddly enough. But
I don't know.
Who's best, who's worst?
Best hair?
It's got to be, you got to do that. I don't even know.
I don't know. I feel like Shanks has pretty good hair. I'd vote for myself. I got good hair.
You can't do that.
Hey,
it's like I'm just gonna vote for me.
Sometimes you got it. No, Shanks probably best hair. I don't know who's running for the worst right now. When Roy was here, I'd say him, but
yeah, hands down.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty even playing field right now.
I've heard Slash take some grief in the past, but I think that's more like just the genetics of how his hair grows than anything else.
He's got bad head like 24/7, I think.
The old comb it with a pillow.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, I don't think he does a whole lot.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Well, maybe that's a vote we'll have to we'll put out there at some point. We'll figure out who's got the best hair. We'll have the fans vote.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
We'll have a day, but you guys, the ones who want to be in the running for the best hair, actually have to put effort into it before you come in. Have it all done up, or not.
Throw some grease in there.
Or not. Maybe we go for the messy look.
Yeah.
That seems to be in. So
most of the boys wear hats anyway.
Well, there's probably a reason why.
Are they the right hat?
Yeah, it's true. Is it?
Is there a wrong hat?
According to the boss, there is. Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I have heard that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll leave it at that.
Yes. So, if you want to get your River Dragons hat, go to rdragonsmerch.com. And that includes you guys. If you if all the boys on the team are listening and they don't have a hat yet, rdragonsmerch.com. All right. So, let's talk a little hockey here. First of all, Carson, has anybody told you that I predicted your goal 1 minute before it happened?
I don't think so. Actually, I did go back and watch the game, and I heard you say that, and I thought it was kind of funny. So
I wish I'd have clipped it and been able to play it back. I didn't think of it until just now again, but I was like, yep. I'm like, yep, the way he's been playing. Here it comes.
I called it.
Boom. Like a minute later, you could just see it coming.
It was made easy by Austin there. Great play, backdoor. So.
Well, I mean, you still got to put the puck in there, right, Boom?
Yeah, that's right.
Got to finish.
Yeah.
You got to finish. No, I mean, look at the weekend. I mean, probably Andy's best game that he's played all year, which at the end of the day, you and Swanner have the toughest jobs because you guys don't see a lot of the ice times and this and that or whatever. So, I mean, I think one... Well, we talked about it a little earlier in the week or whatever with you, and I thought you took what I said and used it in a positive manner, and it was
fuel to the fire.
Probably one of your best games, or it was your best game.
Well, that's one of the important things too. I mean, you can get all the criticism you want in the world, right? But if it's not constructive for you, if it doesn't get you going in the right direction, I mean, that's on you as a player to take whatever your coach says or other people say and apply it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to, sometimes you take things with a grain of salt. Sometimes you got to.
You said criticism. I take that in a not a nice way, Tom. Criticism. Did you mean it?
It wasn't critical.
Constructive
so much as,
criticism?
Constructive, I guess. Feedback, maybe. I don't know. Criticism sounds negative.
Sometimes it's not criticism, though. It's, just straight up advice, really,
Yeah.
How about a critique? You want to use the word critique?
I don't know. I mean, I'm being somewhat serious. Criticism sounds
I understand.
A negative. To me, it's a negative connotation. And I guess, I don't know.
I suppose I look at it from a standpoint of, for me, like, criticism can be constructive. It could be completely useless garbage, but I don't know. I certainly don't mean it in a negative way, but but to your point, okay, I see where you're coming from. I feel like, though, that's, again, to throw the word constructive in front of it is important, because that is how, like, I know I learned and was able to grow as a broadcaster. If I never was criticized or was never told, hey, change things up a little, I never would have got better.
To me, and now I'm probably getting nitpicky or whatever, as a coach, I think criticize is a negative kind of connotation. Evaluation is probably better, and I can evaluate, good and bad. I'm like, hey, this is you know what I mean? I don't know. No,
it makes sense. I understand what you're saying. And yes, because anyone who's listening to the show
and as
knows that you'll sit here and tell guys good and bad to their face.
As positive and negative, hey, Carson, been watching you play, evaluating whatever. You do this really well. This is your downfall. This is why you're not having success, type thing. Mm-hmm. As opposed to, I've been watching you, and to me, if I criticize you, it's more I'm chastising you as opposed to giving you something positive to hold on to. Maybe, I don't know.
So if somebody goes to him and says, "Carson, you stink," he learns nothing from that. But if somebody goes, "Hey, when you go into the corner and you're not, supporting the puck on the right side, or you're not, bracing on the wall the way you need to, or whatever," that's different.
Yeah.
So I don't mean it to be negative, but to your point, I get where you're coming from. I understand that.
All right, enough said. Sorry.
That was what we call semantics.
Yes, I apologize.
We were getting off in the weeds a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, we have an hour to fill. That's why this is a radio show. We have a lot to talk about. So expand on that a little, if you will, Boom. When you talk to Carson and you say, "Hey, let's teach, let's learn here." So what?
Well, I'd rather hear it from him.
Okay, all right, let's do that. All right, put the spotlight on number 44 here.
Let's go back. So last week when we talked, or whatever, you tell me what you took out, or you say what you took out of it, and then we can evaluate.
Okay. How effective the message was.
Right.
Okay.
Let's see how good a communicator I was, or how good or bad I was.
This is high drama right here.
No, I
put you on the spot.
I think when we sat down, it was kind of just bouncing off of what you were seeing in my play, combined with kind of what I already had been dealing with myself that I'd been recognizing. So. To say that it was anything new necessarily, I don't think it was, but at the same time, hearing it from you and the approach, I think was the part that was where I learned from it. And I was like, hey, let's start stepping in the right direction with the way my, attitude's going to be towards this. Not that I had a bad attitude, but
your attitude is good.
Not that my attitude is bad, just kind of like bringing more of that positive mindset, I think.
I kind of look at like me, right? I look at my game. 10 more times talented than I ever was or is, as far as skating skill wise, this and that, right? So, anyways. To me, if you play the right way, a certain way, and you go to the right areas with the right people, you're going to get success, right? So, hey, I scored 30-some goals one year or whatever, right? The minute I scored 5, 6, 7, like in a row or whatever, and the minute I'm like, oh, I'm a really good hockey player, and I can do this, that, or whatever.
It's a kid's game.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what? I'm not a 3-on-3 guy. I'm not a skills guy. I'm a dump the puck in the corner and run through that guy. It bounces off my skate over here, or I makes it look like I win a battle and puck goes over there. You pass it, open net, go. Type thing.
Yeah.
You know, type thing. And really, and I look back kind of a little bit with, you know, skating and basically kind of, for the most part, I'm like, everybody wants to go outside in and get into trouble and see what's going on. You know, for the most part, I just told Annie, I'm like, you need to go inside, outside, because there's nobody in our league can stop you going outside and going around. And then that gives you a little bit more time to use more skill and let other people get to where they need to be, as opposed to our guys always tend to, and I say our guys, everybody in our league tends to want to challenge everybody and take a guy one-on-one, where I don't need you to take that guy one-on-one. Not right there, you know. And we always kind of tend to want to take that guy one-on-one, and then you do it and you turn the puck over. Like, let's go do the one-on-one down in the corner, so it's in a safer play, safer space, gives everybody a little bit more time to come over there and support you, and then more times than not, good things happen.
So coming out of all that, then, your takeaways from all of it, what did you, Carson Andreoli, say, oh, okay, these are my check marks here?
Hold on, before that, he knows everything already.
Right.
And they just, you know, he
well, not everything.
Well, no, but you know,
yeah,
you know the type of game you succeed in, and this and that, and it's more along the lines of, you know, again, you know, and this is everybody. This is everybody in the league is trying to do way too much at the wrong time. Myself included. I mean, it's just challenging these guys to actually use each other more and do less themselves. You know, give and goes. You know, can you beat that guy one-on-one? And but yes, but it's just as easy if I go from give it to this guy, I keep rolling, you give it back to me, and we've accomplished the same thing. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's...
Yeah.
And he knows that already. And most of the guys know it. I just got to instill in them, don't do it. Just don't. Like, you know, we're so much a better hockey team. And if we use each other a little bit more, it makes everybody look better.
So it's the real world application of the lesson or lessons.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes, you know, your coach putting it through your head more than once. But.
Well, and then I don't know, Andy, you tell me, I'm probably a little bit different coach per se, because I'm not one to, you know, and you're different. You're not different, but maybe it's I'm not one to say, hey, you're not doing it, so you're not playing. Right?
Right.
I'm not one to, you know, you're not playing it the way I want you to play, so, I mean, you're not going to play at all. You know, and you're an anomaly, not an anomaly, but, you know, at the end of the day, I'm with that 10th forward or whoever that guy is, whether it's you, whether it's Swan, whether it's whoever.
Yeah.
I got to find ice time for you to succeed. And it's really tough to jump from this line to that line to this line to that line. Not very many people can do that, and be symbiotic with just about everybody. And anyways, that's my toughest job. That's my toughest job is doing that.
What's been your most challenging thing this year? Honestly, piggybacking off that, I think it is just getting in there when you're told, you know, hey, you're going out there right now with these guys. It's not going to be the same guys every time. It's going to be different points in the game, not consistently. So hitting that stride, hitting some consistency, it's hard to find. So you got to push through it and find it in your own game, really, instead of the consistency of the shifts or the timing. I think that's where part of the struggle in my game has come from, and then obviously the feedback from Boom has helped in that, when you're out there, keep it simple. Find that success in your game, not just the consistency of the shifts, driving wide instead of getting into that trouble.
Well, and then to kind of go what coaches want, right? What do coaches want? At the next level, you go to the next level. They see this, right? And you think, as a player, well, I got to do something special, right? I got to do something special to catch the coach's eye, right? Actually, what does the coach want? He doesn't want to see anything special. He wants to see consistency, and with you playing within that system with consistency, that's going to take you to the success of you scoring goals because you're keeping things simple, as opposed to that oxymoron. I'm like, I got to do something really special to catch the coach's eye. You know what I mean? I kind of look back at Kylie, my youngest daughter, playing soccer, right? So good little soccer player. She's this and that. You go to a combine with 200 of the best soccer girls in Georgia, right? And you're there for 4 hours and you're trying to catch coach's eyes. I'm like, how do you do that? When you have 200 little blonde girls with this and that, I'm like, how you do it? You put 3 pigtails in your hair and you wear flashy colors and clothes, and then you just leave it on the ground. You run over that girl that wants that puck or that ball. You do something. That's what you do. It's more, as opposed to skill and this and that. It's this, no, at that point, I want to see attitude. I want to see, he is smart. He does chip and chase, or you know what I mean? As opposed to, he's turning the puck over every time he comes down to the blue line because he's trying to walk that guy inside out. I'm like, you know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah. I think just learning from your mistakes, you want to see that, right? Yeah. You don't want to see the same thing over and over.
Well, and then you look at, just about everybody, all first-year guys or whatever, you're used to being the guy, from your school and from your junior. You go from junior to your school, at your 4-year, your senior year, in junior or whatever, or your overage year, you're the guy, right? Captain, whatever, and you're used to being on the ice. Go to college. Now you're down here. 3 years later, you're the guy. No different than it is this year, kind of thing or whatever. So when you're used to doing that, and it kind of systematically, or what's the word I'm looking for? 4 years down the road, or not systematically, but
gradually, eventually,
progressively, I guess. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. So
that's all right.
I'm going to be quiet for now.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's certainly, you pay your dues in each section of the game, and then, when you get to the next part of the game, whatever level it's at, you're just right back to that square one of fighting for a position, fighting for a job, and trying to get in the lineup. So you're not that big fish anymore, and you got to battle your way there, which, everyone's got to be there.
Well, and then really what I like about this team right now, the guys, is I mean, we're pretty symbiotic in that locker room where everybody's really happy for everybody in success. Like, I mean, you having a great night the other night, there's not one person in that room that didn't want to see that and see that you're the player of the game. Swanner, I mean, his scrap the other night or last weekend, I mean, he deserved the player of the game for that, for sure. The right place, right time. And, and again, guys that don't get all the accolades all the time, I mean, it just shows what we have in that locker room is how everybody's happy.
Let's grab our first break here of the show. We'll come back with more in a moment. We've got Carson Andreoli on board, along with the River Dragons head coach Jerome Bechard. This is the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. Back on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. Want to remind everybody we still have a couple of family 4-pack nights coming up. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A Midland and our sister station, 99.3. That's Kissin' FM. You can pick those up anytime between now and the game night, but our next one is going to be on March 16th. That's Faith and Family Night. And our final one of the year is going to be on April 13th. That is Fan Appreciation Night. Just $40 gets you over $100 in value. It includes 4 tickets to a game, 4 Pepsi products, 4 popcorn, 4 hot dogs, and 4 Chick-fil-A coupons, all for just $40, only through the River Dragons office. Give us a call tomorrow, 706-507-4625, 507-4625. All right. Carson Andreoli is our player guest, and Jerome Bechard, as he is here every week. And, so guys, kind of between the commercial breaks, we started talking about like team awards and things like that, stuff you find in the locker room. So it kind of got me thinking along the lines of the unusual ones I've seen. And I was talking about a chain link one, and boom, you're like, well, you don't want to be the weakest link in the chain, that type of thing. Have you guys ever seen or ever been around? Because there's the belt, the chain, the helmet. Have you ever seen any unusual ones that are just kind of off the wall or a little wacky?
I mean,
like a shovel or a lunch pail?
We never really did it when I was playing. I mean, I don't know where it kind of came from.
Yeah, I haven't really seen anything too crazy. It's usually the same types of things, some kind of necklace with something on it, chain and lock, like you said, or hockey lace and a puck, or a belt, or usually a helmet's a big one. So that's all I've.
So we got
seen.
The Viking helmet.
Yeah,
we got 2. We got the player of the game helmet, and then the walking stick or cane, kind of for the
dragon cane.
I would say the kind of veteran player of the game, and when I say veteran, more the, you did whatever it took kind of thing.
I've also seen become more increasingly popular the actual, like the belt, like the wrestling or boxing style title belt.
Yeah,
those are crazy to me. The teams go out and they get those made up, but they look pretty wild.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know what? I think it's important to have your team kind of be put on the spot to not evaluate, but recognize the guy, like one of your peers, as opposed to it coming from the coach all the time or this and that.
I realize we haven't done a whole lot of losing this year, but in the event of a loss, do you still award those things?
No.
Okay. I would say most places wouldn't. That seems normal, but maybe that even in defeat. Okay, let's recognize.
Yeah, no.
Oh, it was good here tonight.
Yeah, no.
No. You hear like nothing. This was terrible. 60 garbage minutes.
Well, and you know what? I mean, win, lose, whatever. I mean, I don't know. Junior played for coaches where you won everything good, you lose. Silence. Pro, same thing a little bit, but really to me, all right, if you're calling me a professional, then let's act like professionals. Not a big deal. Win, lose. You know what? I mean, to me, you win and lose for a reason, more times than not. Winning, play the right way, get your bounces, create your own bounces, create your own luck. You lose, bad call, bad bounce, played bad, whatever. Goalie playing bad, whatever. I mean, we're all getting paid to do it. Is it at the end of the world to lose a game? To some people, yes. To other people, to me, it's a learning process, and not that I want to, but I mean, it serves its purpose, and learning and whatever. Like, I mean, if individually, if I had nothing to evaluate you against, then you were I'm always going to evaluate you. You're playing great.
Yeah.
Well, how am I going to get you to play better? I mean, well, now I'm going to be really nitpicky on you because you are playing great. And now I'm going to say, well, you know what? Now you got to be even finer tuned than that type thing or whatever. So anyways, I don't know. So I mean, I don't expect to have a happy bus and this and that, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't need silence.
Yeah.
I need you to talk about it. I need whatever. I'm going to watch the game, and you want to come and see how good or how bad you played, come on, and we can start the learning process right now.
Some guys might rather hide in the back of the bus than watch that again, but
a little change in perspective for certain people. But
well, and you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, when you mess up. Do I need to really yell at Carson Andreoli because you toe dragged at the blue line and you turned it over and it came down on a 2-on-1 and, Colgan made a big save? Do I really need to tell you?
No.
At the end of the day, I need you to look at me and give me a nod and say, sorry, coach, it's not going to happen again.
I messed up. Yeah.
Really at the end of the day, do you really need to be told? I'm like, I guess some of them do. Some people do. And to me, it's more of, and on the bench, it's so hard. Things happen so fast, and there's only usually just one of me, or if Jay's on the bench or whatever, you can pick up certain things. But I mean, it's kind of tough to, call in a guy and say, hey, this scenario right here. And actually, with me, I think it's you, and it's actually Petro.
Yeah.
I'm like, anyway, so.
Yeah, picking and choosing battles, I think, for sure.
No, and I think I know some teams have a tablet on the bench now, and they're trying to keep track of things or whatever. And, it would help me a little bit as far as trying to figure out what the hell happened on that goal against more so or on the power play. But I mean, sometimes I think you can overcoach as well too.
And well, yeah, it's interesting too, because especially at this level, okay, not the NHL level where they have 37 different camera angles of everything and you have all that access, but I mean here a lot of times you're trying to watch something back, you've got one look, maybe two if you're lucky. Yeah. It doesn't always show you everything. It's tough.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'd fit in at a higher level or a high level, because I think you can overstimulate and overcoach, and at the end of the day, you're a smart individual or you're not a smart individual. Can you, anyways, I can. Yeah. You can fine tune too much sometimes.
Well, think about school. Your favorite teachers in school were the ones who either, got you fired up for whatever the subject was or for learning in general, or found a way to complement your passion, whatever it was. The ones who were constantly on you, whether it was good or bad, just wore you out. I think there's something to that. I don't think you can, even if overwhelmingly positive or negative or just constant feedback, I think burns anybody out.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about, a different perspective from a different person as well. Like when you see, typically in the NHL when they go over film, it's not the head coach doing it with a player, right? It's an assistant coach or, whoever else,
or even just a video coach or whatever.
Right. Or even sometimes you even just see the players sit down and look at the iPad themselves. They don't have anyone talking to them. So, perspective I think is big, and maybe if they are hearing it from someone, certainly it being from someone who's not the head coach is a different factor as well that is complementary to the game. So.
We get Boomer the good cop, bad cop. Can you do both cops?
I think I can.
Yeah? You did, depending on which way you're facing on the bench, facing left, facing right, good cop, bad cop. That's Carson, you're laughing over there. You've seen both of those cops come out on the bench, haven't you?
I don't know if we've seen much bad cop, but it's there. It's there.
Well, with kind of how we've played and this and that, like, I mean, I've only come in the locker room maybe a couple times and blew up. It's been pretty good. I mean, for the most part, with what's going on now, I mean, it should be coming from Petro, J-Mac, Dozer, the older guys, or whatever. Or, at this point of the year, I mean, at this point of the year, it can come from you.
Yeah.
When we're not playing well and what's going on. Like, why does it have to come from Petro? You have as much at stake in this organization and my team as anybody else, if not more. Because you know what? You're not playing all the time, and you don't get called on all the time, so I don't have a problem you calling out J-Mac. I mean, we're all here for the same reason. I mean, and to me, at the beginning of the year, it's my team. Do it my way. It's not. Now, we're getting to the end. It's not my team anymore. It's more their team than it is my team. You guys dictate how we practice and what we need to get done. Do we need an extra day off? Do we need this and that or whatever? It's more along, and that's kind of me. I mean, I always like to practice. I always like to be on the ice. Got some older guys that need the extra days off and like that a little bit more or whatever. But to me, at the end of the year, we're rocking and rolling. We're playing the way we need to. Now it's keeping it fine-tuned. And for me, what you guys need from me is more trying to keep the same stuff going. I need to keep you guys activated, having it still fun coming to the rink.
Just in check a little bit.
Well, just in check. But yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a job, but it's a fun job, and it's got to be fun coming to the rink. And like right now, we're having fun coming to the rink every time we come to the rink.
Absolutely.
Everybody's in a good mood. There's other teams in the league, they don't want to come to the rink. It's miserable, whatever. Yeah. And, I've been there. I've lost 15 in a row, and it's not fun. But I believe in my hockey team for whatever reason, and how can you be happy coming to the rink and you keep losing? I'm like, somebody stop the madness, and why are we losing? Is it one, because you have a lack of skill, lack of leadership, lack of whatever? What are you guys lacking and what's going on? And if it's you're just not getting the breaks and you're happy with what you have, anyways, you got to be realistic in what you have in that locker room too.
Let's grab another break here. When we come back, we're going to dig into Carson's backstory here, his superhero backstory, how he got involved in hockey in the first place. We put him on skates, and how he got here to Columbus, Georgia to play with this River Dragons team. We'll take a break and come back with more. It's the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. And welcome back on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. Tom Callahan, Carson Andreoli is our player guest this week, and of course River Dragons head coach Jerome Bechard. But Carson, I gave you an entire break to think about this. I wanted to ask you about how'd you get into hockey in the first place? Who was it that got you on skates? How old were you, and what was that like for you?
Yeah, so my first time on skates was when I was 2. My father played growing up, and he ended up playing major junior in the OHL, and that was where his career ended. But he was the catalyst for me to play, for sure. My mom was athletic as well. She played soccer, but never really grew up around hockey. She had 5 brothers, and none of them played. So most of it was due to my father in skates at 2, and the rest has kind of been history. It's been part of my life since, and I can say it'll probably be part of my life. And
is your dad big too?
Yeah, my dad's pretty big. He's shorter than I am. I think he's about 5'7", 5'8", probably.
Really?
Yeah, 5'9", maybe 5'9", 5'9". I think so. Yeah.
Where'd the height come from in your family?
He might have shrank a little bit. He's
we all do.
He's taken some wear and tear over the years. He was like yourself, Boom. He was an enforcer, so he grew up fighting for his spot in the lineup. He as you actually said, very similarly, he tells me all the time that I got more skill than he ever did, but I will never be as tough as him. So.
Got to keep you humble.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, let's work on that. Let's work on that.
Yeah.
Karsh,
No, I'm not afraid of it. It's not something I shy away from. Although actually, I've only been in one fight this year, so I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I'm just not. Maybe I'm not putting myself in the right situations, or would that be the wrong situations?
I guess it depends on the time of game.
That's right. It
can go either way.
Although I did try to fight the other weekend, and he didn't want it. So.
Well, I'll go back to never ask. You dictate. If you play the right way and you do the right things, and I say the right things, the things...
Meaning the things that cause such things to happen.
You're always going to find one if you want. You're always going to find one if you want. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes.
That's for sure.
The voice of experience. Now you have two voices of experience in your ears, so... talk a little bit about, the choice. It's a little more prevalent now, and you're a younger guy. It never really used to be. It was kind of major, junior, or bust. No one really cared about college hockey in the U.S. or Canada, except maybe certain little pockets of Minnesota and New England. But now that's a viable option for guys. Do you go to university? Do you play junior? How do you kind of progress to pro? What went into your decision?
Yeah, it's a tough decision now because there are so many avenues, and like you said before, it was kind of major, junior, or bust. All these separate avenues. Minor pro is obviously there, but for a lot of people, some of the ways they saw it were, if I'm not going to the NHL, I'm not going to play anymore. For some people, and I think for me, growing up in this time, it was more like, hey, I know I want to play. Junior came around, and my age out year came around in junior, and I'd known that I wanted to keep playing, but I was also looking at school potential because I was in the mindset of it's good. It's going to be good to have an education. My father had an education. My mother had an education, and they had always. Not push me, but encourage me that it was a good idea and a good fallback. They never discouraged me from the game of hockey, even as I got older. They just encouraged me towards the educational route, as it's always a good way to go. There's not really too much downfall to it, besides the cost now, actually. But no, so that's the way I went. I had a couple different opportunities for Division III. Just as I just mentioned, the cost is super expensive for some of these schools, and at the rate things are going now, they're giving out less and less scholarships. So it was more a decision of financials along with a little bit of location for me. I ended up picking Niagara University, which was only about an hour and a half away from home, right there on the border there, Niagara Falls. So, yeah, that's where I was for the last 4 years. I got an education in sport management and operations. Not exactly what I was thinking originally for education. I've been super passionate about fitness, so I was looking at the exercise physiology route, kinesiology as some people call it. So... But yeah, I ended up going to Niagara and getting an education, having an amazing 4 years, made some amazing friendships, developed my hockey as, we're talking, that's another avenue now. NCAA isn't, it's the biggest thing in college sports for developing your career to the highest level, but it's not the only avenue anymore. A lot of development in some of those club leagues, like the one I was in, the ACHA. So you see a lot of guys going minor pro from those leagues now, And it's definitely giving a lot of opportunities for players, so opening the door. And now I'm here. So
Well, let's talk about that. You end up in Columbus, Georgia. How did that happen?
yeah, so I knew for sure I wanted to play after I graduated. It was more just kind of seeing how things developed my last year of college. If anything came up for a job, although I did want to play, it was going to be contingent on, potential of career, if I was healthy, all these other things, because I did go to college late. Not that I'm old by any means, but, older for a college graduate, graduating at around 25 years old. So all those factors played in. And when I kind of made the final decision that I was like, yep, 100% I'm all in going, I was reaching out to Josh Petrantonio, who I had known for the last probably 3 or 4 years now. I met him in my first year of college there, as he was an alumni of Niagara. So connected through the team, and kind of got acquainted with him my first year, and gradually, kind of talked more and more. I'd say we became like, friends after a couple of years, and, talked about different things. I always asked him how he was doing here in Columbus, or wherever he was, because that's not where he started. Although I guess it would have been where I would have known him. So anyway, reached out to him, just asking for advice, really. I wasn't asking for a spot by any means. And it just kind of transpired that when I reached out to him, my coach from Niagara reached out, and I think had a conversation. Yeah, I had a conversation with Boom.
Yeah, he reached out to me, and then I called you. And
yeah, so yeah, and then that's how that all happened. So
Yeah. And here you are.
And here I am.
Well, and it's kind of it's funny, but not funny. Like SPHL or coaches, and even I would say myself at some point changing. But I mean, as far as club hockey, like you said, kind of snobbish,
Yeah.
Can be, yeah.
We're not
Can be.
a club hockey player. I mean, are you really? Really? I mean, can't be that good. We don't want, So, I mean, I think it's changing because there are actually some really good hockey players coming out of there. And again, I mean, got to change our attitudes as far as that goes. Like, why did you choose that? You had this, and this, and you chose there. I don't know your financial situation. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter why. The hockey's become better and better and all that stuff. So, I mean, and I just know, and I know coaches in general, SPHL, East Coast League, whatever, they're snobs. They really are. I mean, and you got to change that attitude. I mean, I call an East Coast League buddy or this and that and say, hey, got a kid here. You probably need to take a look at it. Ooh. And they're like, where is he? I'm like, it's my league. He's in the Fed. Well, he's got to play somewhere else before I take a look at him. I'm like, why?
For the longest time, that was NCAA, even D1 college. Like, it's not junior hockey. I mean, of course.
Well,
it's not,
no, it's all changed, and the players are changing as well. Like, I mean, in the SP, when we first started in the SP, 15 years ago, 16, well, probably close to 20 now. I think it's 20. I think it's 20 years now. I mean, I couldn't even talk to a Division I player. Oh, are you kidding me? No way. And then, then the Central League went away and all the leagues went away. And, now it's like, it's a viable option. You can get a good D1 player coming out kind of thing. So anyways, well, and I say the good D1 player, and again, you're a prolific goal scorer in junior, and you choose a D1 college over a D3 college. You go to that D1 college and the coach doesn't give the opportunity to be that prolific goal scorer. Now your role changes and you're a checker. Right? And as a checker, say University of Miami, Ohio, you're not going to get a look at a good high East Coast League gig or this and that. So I actually got a chance at you. you come play for me for a year. I'm like, well, you score 30, 40, 50 goals in junior. Like what? Like I was never put in that situation. Well, you know what? You're going to have some fun playing for me because you're going to get every opportunity. And then all of a sudden you're a 30 goal scorer in the SP, and then you get a crack back up somewhere else type thing. So I don't know. It's, to me, I find a lot of college coaches kill people's love for the game.
Yeah, that NCAA route's certainly cutthroat. I had a handful of friends at Niagara that were on the Division I team, NCAA team, and a lot of them were pretty miserable. They really were, not just because of the certain aspects, whether the coach was bad or whatever, or I wouldn't say bad, but just the way he was or they were. I'm not just talking specifically about Niagara, but it's super cutthroat. You screw up and you're not getting in for the next game. It's it's do or die a lot of the time for those guys. So I was friends with quite a few of them that weren't enjoying their time in NCAA hockey. Actually, we had a kid that he was extremely skilled defenseman, super smooth skater, insane hands. Actually reminds me of Shanks. But he ended up quitting the D1 team and coming and playing for us, and he was like, oh my God, like I've learned to like enjoy hockey again. And although he didn't continue playing because that's not what he wanted to do, he just would overly like say over and over again how much he just was really enjoying playing again and being around like us. So I think it's the atmosphere can certainly be harsh on some of the kids for sure.
It's a business, which is unfortunate, but college athletics is a business.
Yeah,
that's true.
So,
well, everything is. Junior is. I mean, it all is. You know? And you know what I mean. Anyways, I don't know. There's a fine line between, yes, being successful business wise, this and that, even junior.
I got 30 seconds, Boomer.
Business wise, junior, college, or whatever, is a fine line between getting you to be a better person, better hockey player, and being able to put a successful program on the table.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to do it a little different. We're jumping out early this week because we took a lot of time with our segments, but my thanks to Carson Andreoli for joining us and Jerome Bechard. We're on the road, guys. We didn't even talk about it. That's fine. Watch the TV Coaches Show. Boomer and I talk about Motor City. We're going to be there on the weekend. We're not home till March 8th. Buy your tickets now, Ticketmaster.com. Guys, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much for being a part of it. It's the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. We'll talk to you next Tuesday night.